Good morning and welcome to the Wednesday, March 21st edition of Keystroke Live. My name is Dave Hunsinger and I will be talking about database defaults today. I do have everyone on mute just to keep the noise down, so I will unmute at the end of the presentation. Just remember, Keystroke Live every Wednesday, 10 a.m., same login information each week. So today we're talking about database defaults, and really that's what it is. It's the default. So it's when you're adding a new record, there can be repetitive information in there, like your state, your zip code, what tax table you're using for customers, or on inventory if you're entering, say you're a liquor store and you're entering a whole bunch of whiskey, you can have the department and location and things like that in there so you don't have to enter it on each record. So what it really works well for is entering new records, default information. You can use database defaults to update things, but it's not the best way of doing things. So this database defaults, it's often kind of a misunderstood feature or misused feature of Keystroke. It's really there to help you as you're entering inventory. Obviously, a better way of entering inventory is importing it rather than entering it item by item. But it's a way to help you easily have repetitive information entered as you're adding inventory and customers is what it's used for mostly. But for updating prices and other things, there are better ways. You can do it, but it's a little tricky, and I'll kind of show you that as we go along. So I am going to switch over to Keystroke, and hopefully we will get to see this here. So great. I think this is the Desert Browns theme in Keystroke this week here. But here I'm just in the database manager. I'm looking at a inventory database screen. If I hit Control Page Down, that takes me to the last record. And if I hit Page Down again, that takes me to add a new record. Remember, it says Add down here in the bottom right, and my stock number is in parentheses. That just means that's the next available record. If you had 4 workstations going and everybody entering inventory at the same time, I might end up with number 129 or 130, depending on who saved first. So I can put information in. I can put a description in here. And I've got my information going on, and I'm going to come down here. I'm going to say my average cost is $1. Wow, look at that. Everything filled in. Base price, list price, level 1, 2, 3. How did that happen? Well, I'm just going to hit F10 to save this, and then we'll take a look. That all happened because of the database defaults. So if I come up here to Setup and Default, and I was adding a record on this inventory item, so I'm going to pull up Add Mode. And here is how this is set up. So I entered $1 in average cost, and everything below it filled in. So what's this with last cost? Well, it's linked from average cost. There's no formula, so it's just going to copy average cost to last cost. The base price is linked from last cost, so it's going to take whatever in the last cost, which is $1, and plus sign means I'm doing a calculation on it, and M50 means a 50% profit margin or 100% markup. So it's going to take the $1 and make it $2. List price is linked from base price. Now, how do I get to that link? Right here, remember there's always that bottom message bar that's good to have, insert link field. So if I hit insert, or I'm left-handed, I always hit F2. You can use either key anytime. Those are the available fields to link to. So um, I could have linked it to the cost and done a different calculation on it. So there's a lot you can do to link those fields. If I hit escape here, now that link is broken. You see list price isn't linked to anything. So if I added a new record, it would just leave the list price blank. So I'm going to hit insert here again because I want it linked from base price. Now level 1 is base price, but I'm multiplying it times 0.95, so I'm taking 5% off of it. So if it was $1, that's going to be 95 cents, 85 cents, 75 cents. On sale here is, again, linked from base price, and it's going to be 90% of it, or I'm multiplying times 0.9. The other things I have in here are my sale quantity is 1, my sale unit is each, just because that's what I have most of the time. My price code is star, which is kind of my default price code. My tax code is T, taxable, because most items I'm adding are taxable. I can change that to non-taxable if most items I'm adding are non-taxable. But the idea here is that you've got information that you don't have to enter it. If you're entering a whole bunch of items that have the same matrix table or the same department, you can add them in here, take it out when you're done. So this is, again, just to help you not have to enter a lot of repetitive information. You're a shoe store and you're adding Nike Air Jordan shoes. You could put, Nike Air Jordan, size, and leave it blank, and then you're just putting in 9, 10, 11, 12, so that even if you're entering just 30 items or 20 items, it just helps you from having to retype that every time. So that's really what the default screens are for. So these are actual settings that are saved with the screen files. So when you pull up to add a record, it copies that in there. If you see down here in the information bar, F3 to edit security, you can also set a security for each field. If it's blank, that just means it's set to the security level for adding inventory items or editing inventory items. If I go over here to like on hand and hit F3, okay, so for the add, I don't have it. If I look at the edit screen, that's going to be -1, and that's what locks people out of that field because they have a security level of 0, so they can't go edit the on-hand field. You let Keystroke edit it. So you can manage these fields, even security level field by field, if you want certain people in there and not. That's more pertinent on edit than on add. But so that's the inventory add, and I can go ahead and save that. Ask me how I want to save it, all that kind of good stuff. If I go to the customer database and here to set up default, add mode screen 1, this is for when I'm adding customers. So I live in Colorado. Most of my customers are for Colorado. I'll put that in. They're mostly residential. I'll put them in there. Their tax table is typically going to be my S state local tax table, so I'm going to put it in there. I do some AR, so I'm going to put $500 credit limit in there and grace period of 30 days for everybody. So there's some things. I'm going to email everybody statements so that every time I'm adding a record, I don't have to go in and retype this information. I'm just going to hit, and we might as well put Dillon, Colorado in there just so you see. So I'm going to just hit F10 to save this. And when you go to save it, it's the customer main screen. You can have security levels. This we have set to, you can do add or edit. We're just doing add here. It's set to level 99, so that means level 99 and higher can do that. If you look at inventory, there's level 99 and level 7. So that basically means people with security level 10, 9, and 8 see that level 99 one. People with 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0 see that level 7. So you could hide data, you can have completely different looking screens for those different security levels. So I'm just going to click OK here. Again, I can hit Control Page Down, takes me to the last record, and Page Down to add one, or I can just say Record Add. And you see it's got that Dillon, Colorado, it's got my tax table, my credit limit, all that's in there. I just need to type in the information and hit F10 and I'm good to go. So that helped me add those records quickly. I'm going to go back to my inventory database, and now we're going to look at edit. So here I've got my Three Rivers polo shirt. My base price is $20. For simplicity, I'm going to say, okay, got a great deal on these. They're going to be $10 now. Or we've got too many sitting around, I want to get rid of them. So when I type $10 into the base price and hit enter, it changed the list price to $10, and it changed all these fields to, remember, we were multiplying it times 0.95, so $9.50, $8.50, $7.50, and $9. It did that automatically. And that is all because of, if I do setup default and edit screen, I've got these links linked from base price. See that at the bottom of the screen there, and it's multiplying at 0.5. I have those links all built in. So this does update the prices for me like that, but what's difficult about it is the price on the existing record has to have the same relationship, the same ratios, the same multipliers as these numbers here. So what creates that link and that automatic update is my record being exactly the same as this. Well, these markups and multiplication formulas, you only have one of those. So this only works if every single one of your item is marked up and priced the same, and that usually doesn't happen, and usually some other things are going on. So there are better ways, like using search and update price or using contract pricing to update these prices rather than using the default function. So I'm just going to hit escape to get out of here and not save that. But so here again, you see if I type in 10, then this level 1 is going to go to 950. I hit enter, so 950, 850, 750. If I type 20 back in, it goes back to the 19. Well, if I say, hey, I really want this to be 1895 and this to be 1695, now I've broken the link, the relationship between this level 1 pricing being the base price times 0.95. I didn't break it for level 3, but I did break it for these two. So if I go to the base price here now and type in $10, it will update the list price in level 3, but it won't update the level 1 and 2. So I hit enter. So it updated the list, but it didn't update those because my relationship was broken. It didn't know what to do because the numbers were different. And the thing is, once it's broken, I can always fix it by making this 950. Now my relationship is back there because it's the same as that database default edit. So if I change this to 20, it's going to update list level 1, level 3, but it's not going to update level 2. So I'll put in 20 and see it updated level 1, but it didn't update level 2. Hopefully you can see this is a little bit complicated way of doing things. The other thing is it's not the greatest way, because if you've ever changed any prices manually, or something's changed a little bit, then if this is out of that relationship, you could end up thinking prices are updating and prices aren't getting updated. But what it is good for are these each and adding items and things like that. So the database default on edit used to be a parameter you have to turn on, but now it's basically always on because we have add screens and edit screens. It used to be real handy, but now it isn't. What it's handy for is entering repetitive information. And say you're adding information, all of a similar type of item, and you want to put some information in here about the vendors, or about who you got it from. You can put all that in there, so you're not retyping it or cutting and pasting it every time. This can be, again, it's real handy for when you're adding items and entering repetitive information. And remember, even if it's just 20 items, you can change that default, add those 20 items, take that information out of the default, or put different information in the default, add 20 more, so forth and so on. It is part of the clerk database as well. There's the setup and default. If I look at the add mode, I don't have anything in here. So you could come in here and put some information. You want everyone to be 5 security level by default, not 10. You can put in the state of Colorado, that kind of thing, so that it's ready to go. A little simpler, again, trying to save you time and effort when you're entering new clerks and all. So again, it is a convenience thing. I can go ahead and save that. When I hit Control Page Down and Page Down, it's got Colorado, my default security level 5. So that just saves me. I don't have to think about that all the time. And that is really what the database default is all about. I am going to, if I can find it here, I'm going to unmute everyone. And are there any questions?
Yes, on the pricing, can you have that add the formula for always ending in 99 rather than into a
you can't do that with the database default. You can do that with the price tables.
Okay.
So again, that's where for updating pricing, price tables and search and update price work a lot better than this database default.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Hi, this is Randy. Can I ask an unrelated question?
Sure.
Are we any closer to any third-party credit card processors beyond Merck or Vantiv and Cayenne?
We are trying to figure it out. So it's something that's kind of in process. You can use the Cayenne payment gateway to get at third-party processors right now.
Yeah, just getting killed with the Heartland deal in our area here since they bought all this software. And
yeah, the Heartland guys are wearing me out. I get a call every day from a random Heartland rep. So.
Yeah, well, now that they bought PC America and all these, they can undercut us so bad that the gateway would never, the amount would never fly.
Yeah, but yeah, that's what's available now.
Okay, thanks.
Well, thank you everyone for attending. We're going to talk about clerk passwords, how you reset them, set them up, hopefully some ways to make it easier with all the new PCI regulations and stuff. So you will hear about that from Lynn next week. Thank you for attending.